Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Tia Faith at Home, and I'm actually packing right now. I'm going to travel this weekend for work, and that's the purpose of this video actually. Not to show you what I'm packing, but actually to let you know the things that I do in order to prepare my family for when I'm traveling for work. And this really breaks down into two things. One, if I'm traveling and my husband's staying behind with the kids, and then two, if I'm traveling and also my husband's traveling for work at the same time. So there'll actually be someone coming into our home to watch the children, or maybe even three if the children have to go somewhere else while we're traveling for work. But that was usually far and few in between. Usually someone comes in or one of us are able to stay with the children if I'm traveling for work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started packing and everything, and then I'll come back and let you know some of the things that I do for traveling for work to make sure my family is good to go and everything's taken care of. So the first thing that we'll talk about when it comes to me traveling for work and what I do, and I think this one's a little bit easier actually if my husband's actually staying behind because it's less prep work for myself. But depending on the length of time that I'm gone and when I'm traveling, like what I do on the weekend versus during the week is different. But if I'm traveling, like for instance this weekend, it's pretty minimal that I have to do. My daughter's gymnastics practice is canceled, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But I just made sure that like we have food in the house. But the weekend's good because usually we don't like cook or meal plan on the weekend. It's kind of just fend for yourself, and then we'll have a meal on Sunday. And then this Sunday just so happens to be Super Bowl, so we'll have like some ribs and cheese dip. So it's not really much to worry about on that aspect. And then I'm fortunate that my husband likes to do laundry, so I don't have to worry about laundry or anything. He'll take care of that while he's here. And then I did go to the grocery store to get some milk and like little snacks for the baby. But aside from that, it's not really much I have to do. Now, if I was traveling during the week though, I would actually do some meals for them, or like have a Home Chef or a HelloFresh box come to the house so that my husband doesn't have to worry about making food when he gets off work or anything. Now, I am a person of convenience, so things like that just make it much easier. And I remember someone told me before, there comes a point where your time is more valuable than your money. So like I have no issue with doing that whatsoever. Like for an example, when I deployed and my husband had my daughter for the entire time that I was deployed, I actually made 9 months of freezer meals, which ended up being like between 30 and 35 freezer meals. And it was just the main dish. It wasn't size because he can always go get those steamables or anything from the grocery store. But I just wanted to make it easier for him and not have him have to worry about having to cook food or anything or add anything to it, because she was active with soccer, t-ball, gymnastics, and dance, and I didn't just want to have that extra pressure on him. So I did make 9 months of freezer meals. I also made like cookie dough that all he had to do is defrost and bake. I made snacks like hot wings, and I put everything in a food saver and then put it in the deep freezer so he would have it at his convenience or whatnot. I know some people might see that as a bit extreme, but like I said, I'm a person of convenience. I just want to make life easier or whatnot. And really, I was just like that overbearing mom, and I wanted like the focus to be on my daughter to make sure that she was taken care of and know what she was eating and everything. So that was my way of extending some form of control while I was still deployed. And but that's the longest that like we've been separated. Like this summer, I went to school for 8 weeks, and the biggest thing was just our bulk grocery shopping at Costco or whatnot. And then since we had the baby, it was also making sure that we had breast milk or whatnot. And you probably remember some of my previous videos where I talked about shipping breast milk and the process that I did for that. And aside from that, it was pretty smooth sailing because he was also doing a combination of teleworking because of the quarantine and everything. So it wasn't too bad at that point. I think like just the having to like deal with a 6-month-old was more stressful than anything else for him. But I mean, we made it through. Breast milk was sent, everyone ate, and everyone's still alive. So again, like if I'm traveling for work and they're staying with the parent, it's a lot less than what I have to do. I just like to make sure that like he doesn't have to go to the store or anything, or have to make any unnecessary trips, and they can just focus on what they have to do as part of their everyday routine or whatnot. And he's perfectly capable of doing that, but again, I'm a person of convenience or whatnot. And then if we're both traveling for work and then someone comes into a home, the first thing I do is I will make a list of like their routines or whatnot, so that they're tracking. I include emergency contacts on that list, any tricks or anything to let them know like how to get the baby to sleep, or things that Morgan may like or things that they don't dislike. And then extracurricular activities, what time they are and where they're located at, so that they can make them. And the biggest thing that I do, one, I make sure that there's food in the house that the sitter likes so that they are comfortable. And then two, I meal prep. So I make the meals for the week and I portion them out accordingly or whatnot. And I think that's really the biggest thing, but depending on the time. And then it really depends on who comes to the home. Like if it's my mom or family or something, then I'm not cooking, because my mom can cook and the food's just fine or whatnot. But I don't want to put more pressure or more responsibility on the person coming into the home if they're not family. So I will cook those meals. And then like if the kids are going somewhere, depending on who they go to, really depends on what happens. Obviously they're going to someone's home and I want them to be welcome in their home and I want them to respect their home. So I don't come too crazy with my requirements or anything. Main thing is like make sure I can talk to them. But I do let them know if there's like any dietary requirements or things that they can't have or they can't do, so that they know. Again, if they're going to like my mom's house or something, that's fine and dandy. They're gonna survive and everything's fine. If they're going to a close friend's house, that's fine. Again, they know how I am and they know like the things I like to do. So I don't have any issues there. Honestly, I don't think we've taken them to just like someone that we didn't know well. So really, it's not really that much of a difference on whether or not they're going to a family's house or to a close friend's house or whatnot. Just I want them to respect that person's home or whatnot, but I also want that person to be cognizant and aware of like some of our requirements and some of the things that we have going on. The biggest thing is like meal prep, whether it's for they're staying with my husband or someone's coming into the home. And then if we're both traveling, again, just making sure they have everything they need so that they're doing okay or whatnot. And then I also communicate with the teachers at school and at daycare, so they know that either I'm traveling or my husband and I are both traveling or whatnot, and to give extra help or like just make sure that they're doing okay if they notice any differences or whatnot, and just keep us posted. I mean, it's 2021 and I'm super thankful and grateful for like email and the ability to do video chats with the teachers, so that they can keep us informed just as much as we can keep them informed. I should have put this in that way. And I think like the most important thing though when traveling for work, whether or not the children are staying with a parent or staying with a friend or someone's coming to the house, you have a nanny, whatever the case may be, is just to have a plan and understand that children are variable creatures, so things may change or whatnot, and just be aware of that or whatnot, and just have like some comfort knowing that things might go outside of your left or right limits, but just know the children are taken care of. I can tell you now, it is a lot easier for me to leave my children now that they're older. And not really Maxton. I feel like he had like a little baby heart attack or something when me and my husband were recently traveling for work. But my daughter, she can talk to me. She can tell me like, I don't like this person, or they did this, or they were mean or whatnot. And granted, she's 8, so take some of that with a grain of salt. She could just be being an 8-year-old. But I am more comfortable now leaving her now that she's older, as opposed to like before I was like on edges. And even with Maxton, I'm still breaks my heart or whatnot. The emotional aspect of it never gets easier. Like I don't like leaving my children. I like to do things with them. I actually like my family, but the peace of mind knowing that they are okay and they are taken care of, and like I can call my daughter on her iPad, or I can call her watch. It's not an iWatch, it's like one of those little gizmo watches from Verizon or something, but I can call her watch or whatnot and know she's okay, or I can talk to the teacher during the school day and make sure that she's okay. So that peace of mind and comfort from that makes it easier for me to have to go away and work. But again, this is all part of like the bigger plan. So I do this now, so in 4 or 5 years, 6 years from now, I won't have to do it or whatnot, and I'll have the choice on like if I leave her or if I have to leave or whatnot. So what I forgot to mention too is if I'm traveling for work and that they're not going to be with a parent, so someone's coming into the home or they're going to someone else's home, I do leave some spending money just in case there's a trip to McDonald's or they go to the store or whatever the case may be. I always leave them some spending money. Then depending on the length of time that I'm going to be gone is going to depend on how much money I leave. Like this past time, one, I didn't leave any money because it was school and I knew they weren't doing anything extra. But before, and it depends on age too. So like when my daughter would go down to visit in Georgia, I would give her like 20, 30 bucks. She was like 3 years old. I mean, the most her buddy was gonna go to was like a trip to the dollar store or something. But now it can be anywhere from 50 to 150, just depending on the length of time and then what they might do. You know, they well, if we weren't in COVID or whatnot, there could have been a trip to the movie theater or like a trip to the mall or something. So just so that they'll have some spending money and that burden isn't placed on the caretaker. Speaking of the caretaker, so if someone's coming into the home or they're going to someone else's home, I also have to negotiate how much we are going to pay, because that's that person's time. They're offering their time to us, providing a service, allowing us to travel and continue to work. So we do discuss how much we're going to pay, and then we come up with a number or whatnot. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into the details. It does add up over time. So like when we were in Kansas and Texas, it got pretty expensive. But again, we do it now so that in the future we don't have to worry about that or whatnot. And we definitely have to talk price or whatnot, because you don't want any surprises on the back end. So over the summer while I was gone, we actually did have a sitter come so that my husband can go do something. And there was a misunderstanding between the sitter and my husband and even myself, because I was the one talking to her via care.com, and we ended up paying a lot more than what we initially wanted to pay because we didn't clarify right off the get-go. But rest assured that did not happen again. So always be sure to negotiate price if someone's coming into the home or if you have them going to someone else's home. And then I do know, like, there's been times where people say, oh, you don't have to pay me or you don't have to do anything. But again, at that, I'm still going to give you something, even if it's as a gift, because you're giving your time to help my family out when we need you so that our kids are taken care of. And I just think that's the right thing to do, in my opinion. So I didn't have a lot to pack because this is just a short trip. I literally leave tonight. My flight's like 5 o'clock or something. Get there at 9. I have my meeting and I'm going to be with them all day tomorrow. And then I fly Sunday at 6 a.m. So I'll be back home at 9. So this is really a quick turnaround trip or whatnot. And like I said, they're staying with my husband. So really wasn't much for me to do. I don't feel bad about leaving any laundry for him to do because I don't like doing laundry. He likes doing laundry. But there's food in the house. We have tacos left over. We have baked potatoes, salad. So they'll be fine. And again, I'm literally only going the whole day tomorrow. They're gonna have Chick-fil-A tonight. There's nothing to worry about. So yeah, I just wanted to do a really quick video to let you guys know like some of the things that I do when I have to travel for work. Like I said, it all depends on whether or not they're staying with a parent, my husband, or they're someone's coming into the home, or they're going to someone else's home right now. And I just want to mention this too, kind of off topic, but right now we really don't want them to have to travel to go to anyone's home outside of the state, because if they do, they have to quarantine for 14 days. And if they have to quarantine for 14 days upon return, that means that we can't go to work or anything. So we prefer people to come into our home at this point. I do like the idea of like them going to visit relatives or whatnot if we have to travel over the summer, but right now that's just not an option. So yeah, more likely than not, it's the things that I do to prepare when other people are coming into our home.